I just saw Marvel's Thunderbolts and I wanted to break down the important things I noticed it is saying about mental health, trauma, and recovery. I especially want to break down those that are counter to the mainstream but have proved useful to myself. I, like many people, have struggled, like the characters in the movie, and I have studied and experienced many different therapies, bottom up, top down, such as IFS, somatic experiencing, and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And I will be using all of this background experience I have to highlight the subtle and the plain spoken messages the film is conveying that I noticed. Most of which is on the cutting edge of therapy, proving that the writer, Eric Pearson, to me, has definitely experienced a lot of this too. Let's start chronologically. What jumped out to me when watching this movie is the astute development of mental illness and its traumatized characters. Firstly, the movie takes place once Yolena and the characters have all entered adulthood. Why do these types of movies always happen in early adulthood, or at least adulthood? I think it's because the effects of the traumatic experiences in childhood often do not fully make themselves known until the parts of us holding on to the past feel comfortable enough to show more of themselves to us. Basically, often in early adulthood, once the person is no longer in the dangerous environment and can increasingly come out of the survival mode, the fight, flight, or freeze, these parts, these experiences, the past trauma resurfaces. When a safer and more supportive environment is established, there's more time and space for the past hurt to bubble up and for us to notice it and care about it. Secondly, contrary to what many believe, many people's depression, dissociation, anxiety, and other things are not mainly genetic, but in fact from trauma and the shame and self-loathing it causes. This is not to say that genetics don't play a big role, but to believe that it's mainly hereditary discounts the real possibilities of remission, healing, and major reduction in mental and emotional distress in our lives. The movie shows this through Yolena and the others having to face their past and then them feeling much better because of it. But how do we face our past? As in the film, one must leave hostility behind and be compassionate to our younger versions of ourselves. Forgiveness is crucial. It's so crucial, so powerful. One thing you might have noticed, having known many people, is that facing and moving on from their past isn't always easily accessible. Just like Yolena. Picture the beginning of the movie. She's sitting on top of a skyscraper. But why is she doing this? Why is she chasing adrenaline? What is often co-occurring with depression? It's dissociation. Yolena is disconnected from her body, her relationships, her dreams, and her purpose. We find this all out later. And so she is seeking out the extreme, the only way she can feel something. Coming out of a chronic freeze state takes time. Bottom-up therapies like somatic experiencing and EMDR can be incredibly helpful, especially because top-down therapies like IFS, internal family systems, and CBT might not be very effective or even possible. Also, as seen with Yolena and the others, establishing relationships with safe enough people can help us trust others, the world, and have a positive view on our future again. All contributing to a more regulated nervous system. However, no one can save us. We must do the heavy lifting ourselves. But having safe social engagement ongoing can be a massive support for us in our healing. So what does Yolena do once she starts facing these difficult emotions? She cries. Finally turning towards and opening up to grief can seem scary or embarrassing, but it is extremely cathartic. Old memories, smells, and blocked emotions often come up, and a weight feels like it has been taken off of one's shoulders. Afterwards, what also happens, as it does with Yolena, and is referenced to with Kierkegaard's quotes, is that one's purpose in the world becomes more clear. Our intuition comes back online. As this does, and we align with it, so does love, joy, and hope. They all become way more abundant. Let me not forget to mention how spot on this movie shows depression. From the Red Guardian's messy, unkept home and appearance to Florence Pugh's compelling acting and even the outfits she has on. This movie understands it. Seeing these powerful shots and moments in the trailer is what convinced me to actually go see it. It's the first movie I've seen from Marvel since Endgame. Outside of what's shown in the trailer, the backstory of the character Bob is uncanny. We all either have been or know people who try and find themselves through backpacking around countries and taking drugs. In my experience, What it boils down to is these are misguided attempts to cope with undealt with trauma, and actually can be ways of recreating the unpredictable, fast paced, and unsafe, uncomfortable environment that one is used to. Bob's referenced mood swings and feelings of grandeur and helplessness obviously seem similar to bipolar disorder. However, the mood swings could also be seen as extreme emotional dysregulation. Yolena and the others deal with this to a lesser form. The flashbacks in the movie are characteristic of post traumatic stress and accurately show another thing, that events such as violent acts can leave lasting impacts, but so does witnessing parental fighting and familial abuse. Something I love about this movie is despite the moments of comic relief, one thing is never made light of, and that is that the effect of experiencing trauma, especially during childhood and developmental periods, is enormous. Thunderbolts says a lot about trauma and mental health, more so than any other superhero movie I've seen, and it does so extraordinarily on point. Not only does it tackle these powerful topics, but it also illuminates how to overcome the past, how to overcome the shame, what this looks like, and how to get on with our lives, our new and exciting and purposeful lives. So don't miss it.